In a small town where dreams seemed to have been forgotten, lived a man known only as the Old Grouch. His dusty bookstore was a reflection of his bitter soul, until one day, an old diary resurfaced from the past. "Today is the first day of the rest of my life." These words, written decades ago, were about to trigger a transformation that no one could have predicted. From a bitter recluse to a protagonist of change, follow John's extraordinary journey as he rediscovers his purpose, faces unexpected challenges, and inspires an entire community to dream again. A story about second chances, the power of perseverance, and the magic that happens when a community unites for a common goal. Prepare to be moved and inspired by John's incredible story of rebirth. Sometimes all we need to change the world is to remember who we were and who we can be. Don't miss this touching story. A life lesson that will touch your heart and perhaps change your perspective forever. But first, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This is very important for the channel's growth and will ensure you're notified about new videos. And now that you've subscribed to the channel, I want to give you a very special tip. Have you ever thought about making an income from your home in dollars? Click the link in the description and see how you can do this. Now, let's get to today's video. In a small town called Peaceful Valley, there was an old and dusty bookstore on the corner of Maple Street. The establishment, with its faded facade and crooked sign, was known as Books and Memories. Its owner, John Smith, was a 45-year-old man with graying hair and tired eyes, known to everyone as the Old Grouch. John lived bitterly, blaming the world for his failures. His daily routine was to open the store at 9 a.m., sit behind the dusty counter, and cast disapproving glances at any customer brave enough to enter. Local residents even placed bets on how long a new customer would last inside the store before hurrying out. One morning, Mrs. Thompson, a frequent customer and one of the few people who tolerated John's bad mood, entered the store. "Good morning, Mr. Smith. What a beautiful day, isn't it?" John just grunted in response, not taking his eyes off the newspaper. "I came to pick up that cookbook I ordered. Has it arrived?" "Back table," John replied dryly, pointing to a disorganized pile of books. Mrs. Thompson sighed but didn't give up. "You know, Mr. Smith, life is too short to live with a frown. Have you ever thought about smiling once in a while?" John finally looked at her, frowning. "And what for? The world out there doesn't deserve my smiles." Mrs. Thompson sadly shook her head and left the store, leaving John immersed in his bitter thoughts. But everything changed on a rainy autumn morning. While organizing some books in the store's basement, John found a dusty box. Upon opening it, he discovered an old leather-bound diary. Intrigued, he opened it and recognized his own youthful handwriting. The yellowed pages were full of dreams and hopes he had long forgotten. John sat on the dusty floor, his back against a bookshelf, and began to read. March 15, 1998. "Today is the first day of the rest of my life. I opened the doors of books and memories for the first time. I can't believe I've realized my dream. I'm going to make a difference in the world, one book at a time. I want this bookstore to be a haven for dreamers, a place where people can lose themselves in wonderful stories and find inspiration. I promise myself that I will never lose this enthusiasm, no matter what happens." These words hit John like lightning. Tears began to roll down his wrinkled face. He realized how much he had changed and how he had allowed bitterness to consume his dreams. "What happened to me?" he whispered to himself, his voice choked with emotion. At that moment, John decided it was time for a change. He spent the entire night rereading his old diary, remembering the hopeful young man he once was. The next morning, to everyone's surprise, John opened the store an hour early. He began to work tirelessly. He painted the bookstore walls a welcoming shade of light blue, reorganized the books by genre and author, and even created a cozy reading space with comfortable armchairs and a coffee machine. Local residents observed the changes with curiosity. Some even stopped in front of the window, mouth agape at the transformation. A week later, a young student named Emily entered the store looking for a rare book for her master's thesis. She hesitated at the door, having heard stories about the grumpy owner. To her surprise, John greeted her with a warm smile. "Good morning. How can I help you?" Emily blinked, confused. "Good morning. I'm looking for The Forgotten History of Small Towns by Sarah Johnson. It's quite a rare book. Ah, I know that one, exclaimed John, his eyes shining with enthusiasm. Come with me, I think I saw a copy in the basement last week. Together, they spent hours searching for the book, animatedly discussing literature, history, and Emily's dreams for the future. When they finally found the book, it was almost night. Thank you so much, Mr. Smith, said Emily, smiling. You've saved my thesis. John smiled back, feeling a satisfaction he hadn't experienced in years. The pleasure was mine, Emily. And please, just call me John. But fate had an even greater challenge in store for John. A few days later, he heard rumors that the city hall was planning to demolish the old municipal library to build a parking lot. The news left him outraged. We can't allow this, he exclaimed to Emily, who had become a frequent visitor to the bookstore. That library is the cultural heart of our town. Emily nodded, determined. And what can we do? John thought for a moment, then his eyes lit up with an idea. Let's propose a project to revitalize the library, turning it into a modern cultural center. In the following days, John and Emily worked tirelessly on the project. They researched, made budgets, and developed a detailed plan. John used his savings to hire a local architect to create renderings of the project. When they presented the idea to the mayor, they faced initial resistance. It's an ambitious project, said the mayor, scratching his chin. But where will we get the funds? John didn't let himself be discouraged. We can organize fundraising events, seek sponsorships from local businesses. This town has always come together in important moments. After weeks of negotiations and presentations, the project was finally approved. The news spread quickly through the town, and soon volunteers began to appear, offering help. John's bookstore became the headquarters of the operation. People of all ages gathered there to discuss ideas, plan events, and coordinate renovation efforts. One day, as John observed the movement in the bookstore, Mrs. Thompson entered, smiling broadly. Well, Mr. Smith. Looks like you've finally found a reason to smile. John laughed, a sound that surprised even himself. You know something, Mrs. Thompson? You were right. Life really is too short to live with a frown. Months passed, and the project was a resounding success. The library, now a vibrant cultural center, became the beating heart of the town. It had modern reading rooms, a small auditorium for lectures and presentations, and even a cozy cafe. On the opening night, John stood on the stage, looking at the crowd of smiling faces. His voice trembled with emotion when he began to speak. A few months ago, I was a bitter man, lost in my own resentments. But thanks to an old diary and the incredible support of this community, I rediscovered my purpose. This cultural center is a testament to what we can achieve when we work together, when we allow ourselves to dream and act. Thank you all for reminding me of the power of community and the importance of never giving up on our dreams. The audience burst into applause, and many eyes were misty with tears. After the ceremony, John returned to his renovated bookstore. He sat in one of the comfortable armchairs, observing the movement of people coming and going, sharing smiles and stories. He took out his old diary and wrote, "Today I understand that it's never too late to start over. Life is made of choices, and each day is a new opportunity to make a difference. It's not the years in our life that count, but the life in our years. I'm grateful for this second chance and promise to never again forget the power of dreams and community." And so ends our story, but it's just the beginning for John and Peaceful Valley. John's journey teaches us valuable lessons about the importance of self-reflection, the power of a positive attitude, the strength of a united community, and that it's never too late to change and pursue our dreams. This story reminds us that each of us has the power to transform not only our own lives but also the world around us. Through perseverance, hard work, and a positive attitude, we can overcome bitterness, reconnect with our dreams, and make a significant difference in our communities. And you, who are watching this video now, how about reflecting? What change can you start today to transform your life and your community? Remember, just like John, you have the power to make a difference. Start now. If you liked this inspiring story, don't forget to leave your like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Until next time.